The grass a little bit greener and the sky a little bit bluer because it is March. There is a new team atop the mountain in the NBA. Welcome into NCC Sports. I'm Jackson Cowen. The Thunder are NBA champs for the first time since the team moved to Oklahoma City. And the Thunder get to do it at home, no less. The SU men's lacrosse team was in action as well. The Orange had its first ACC test of the season against Virginia. These two teams had a barn burner a season ago. SU came out victorious in that one, 18-17, and they hope to do the same here in this one down in Charlottesville. Syracuse comes in on a 4-game winning streak, while Lars Tiffany's Cavaliers have won their last two. First quarter, Orange down 2. Johnny Mullen right off the faceoff finds Owen Hiltz. Bang! From the lacrosse field to a team that put up lacrosse numbers on the scoreboard. Omaha, you said it, somewhere in middle America. Ryan, how about you? What kind of stands out to you? It's the biggest sporting events of the year, the Super Bowl, and it's the reigning champs versus the Philadelphia Eagles, a rematch of a few years ago, Super Bowl 57. And the Big Easy plays host for the final game of the NFL season. Ryan hating on Michigan. They play 2 7-footers. I think that's always kind of fun to watch, and we'll see what they can kind of do. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. We'll have one more look at the weather right after this.
So you talk about the rest of this season. What are the expectations for the Orange and the rest of this season?
National champions. I think they've talked about it all regular season or all off season long, is that this is the expectation. This is why you come to Syracuse. I think this is a group that's coming off a frustrating loss, a game where they felt they didn't have their best performance against Denver last season in the quarterfinals. They lost that game by 2 goals, only put up 8. And so they really struggled a little bit toward the end of the season. I mentioned the loss to Duke, but this 2022 recruiting class that's headlined by Joey Spallina but has so many others. Luke Rowe was a part of that class. Michael Leo on the back end. Jimmy McCool was in that class. You have Billy DeWan, Riley Figueres. The names and the list kind of goes on and on. So for the Orange, the time is now. They're all upperclassmen now. This is why they came to Syracuse. And it's an Orange team that hasn't been to the Final Four since 2013. They haven't won a national championship since 2009. Coach John Galloway was on that team when Syracuse last won a national championship. And for the Orange, the time is now. Like I said, they also have some good veteran leadership. You have guys like Owen Hiltz. He's a 5th year. You have the grad student in Sam English. You also have Michael Grace on the back end. He won 2 national championships at RIT, 2 D3 national championships. So a good combination of still a little bit of youth with the junior class, but also some guys that have been around and done that. So I think for the Orange, like I said, national champs. It's the 4th year with Coach Gates, 2nd year with defensive coordinator Coach O'Dearna. His defense got better last season. They only allowed about 11 goals a game. The season prior, they let in about 12 goals a game. So the defense got better with him. I expect them to take another step this year. And like I said, haven't been to the championship weekend since 2013, and the Orange want to get back there this year.
A new court ruling could shake up the college sports landscape, including for Syracuse. A judge signed the settlement between Grant House and the NCAA. But what does that mean for college athletics? NCC's Jackson Cowen has the story.
The root of what this is really student athletes looking for a bit more and recognizing their value and what they bring to the universities.
That is Sydney Moore, an ESPY winning podcast host. She says the case boils down to one thing.
So now with the House case, athletes are saying, no, for years and years and years, you were getting these TV deals, these different streams of revenue that were directly related to me.
The settlement does a few things. It says the NCAA and its schools must pay $2.8 billion to athletes who participated from 2016 until now. It allows schools to pay athletes directly. It begins on July 1st, and the settlement creates a cap for what schools can pay players. The cap, which is around $20.5 million, covers direct payments from the university straight to the student. Prior to this settlement, universities couldn't legally pay athletes directly. NIL deals had to come from social media, brand deals, or collectives. Collectives then became a big part of college athletics, both for the student and for the university.
Why don't we create one huge NIL deal with them that pays a huge, much larger sum of money, tens of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars. And we say, okay, you have to do all these different things. And then usually those collectives handle the deals.
The ruling cuts out the mediator between athletes and schools. Division I schools have the option to opt in to the new settlement, but are not required to. The settlement brings some new rules as well: roster limits, expanded scholarships, and others depending on the sport. Regardless, Moore says it will have a lasting impact.
I keep saying this. I think it just proves that the era of the dumb athlete is over.
Jackson Cowen, NCC News. The Four Nations Face-Off replaces the NHL All-Star Break. It's best on best hockey for the first time since the 2014 Olympics, and it's USA and Canada in the final. TD Garden is the site. The two teams met 5 days prior, a game that the U.S. won 3-1. And both teams getting set for the second matchup with some hockey royalty in the house. Mike Eruzione for the Americans and Wayne Gretzky for Team Canada. In the first period, Canada leads. But on the forecheck, Austin Matthews forces a turnover right out in front. Brady Tkachuk ties the game at 1. Exciting first period for fans in Boston. Second period, the defenseman didn't play every game in this tournament, but making his mark on the tournament here. Jake Sanderson puts the U.S. on top, and now coming back in the second period, Canada. Mitch Marner cuts to the middle, leaves it for Sam Bennett. Short side high on Connor Hellebuck to tie the game. This one would go to overtime. And what's better than sudden death? Not much. Connor McDavid to win the Four Nations. The golden goal was in 2010 from number 87. This time in 2025, it's number 97, the passing of the torch. And Canada wins the first ever Four Nations tournament. As the Liberties start to gear up for its season, the Cornell Big Red are in the midst of the playoffs. The Cornell men's hockey team won the ECAC championship just about a week ago over Clarkson. The prize? A first-round matchup with the number 2 team in the nation, the Michigan State Spartans. In the Toledo region of the NCAA tournament, Coach Schaefer's squad is taking on the Michigan State Spartans. Coach Schaefer in his 30th and final season at the helm for Cornell. First period, Spartans up 1. Ryan Walsh on the forecheck comes around the top of the circle. There's a snipe, tie game. Cornell now down in the second. Charlie Major this time working, and he gets the pass from Hoyt Stanley in the slot. One-timer, buries it. Third period, though, Cornell trailing once again. Ben Robertson driving wide, fires one at the net. Loose puck in front. Ryan Walsh ties it, his second of the day. And then late third period, seems like it's going to go to overtime. Big Red on the power play. Charlie Major, little seam pass, and Sullivan Mack with 10 seconds left. The Big Red move on. Cornell will play BU for a chance to go to the Frozen Four.
Good afternoon, Josh. The Orange come into this season after a tough loss last season in the NCAA tournament in the quarterfinals to Denver. They come in as the number 2 ranked team preseason, and they look to prove exactly why in their first ever matchup against this Jacksonville squad, a Jacksonville squad that brings a famous Orange alumnus to the Dome. That's John Galloway, former national champ, goalie of the year, Mr. All-American, and Coach Gate, a national champ in his own right, getting his squad fired up. Luke Roa, though, getting the boys going early. Lefty falling down, beautiful finish for him, got the Orange started 1-0.